Welcome back to Crypto Unlocked. I'm your host, Crypto Daryl. And every time I post about XDC and the recent USDC integration, I see the same comment popping up. Wait a minute, didn't Stellar, Algorand, or even Hedera integrate USDC years ago? Why is this such a big deal for XDC now? I don't get it. On the surface, it might look like the same old news. If blockchains already have USDC, then why does it matter when XDC gets it? But here's the truth that most people are actually missing. It's not the same situation. XDC's integration with USDC is different in timing, in purpose, and impact. If you understand the context of where XDC sits in the crypto world, then you'll see this as a turning point, not just another check mark on the list of features. Let's start with the early days when Stellar, Algorand, or Hedera integrated with USDC. They were all in the same race to establish themselves as serious blockchains. Back then, the name of the game was credibility. If you wanted to be taken seriously in the blockchain space, you needed speed, you needed low fees, and you needed smart contracts. And you absolutely needed a trusted stablecoin like USDC. USDC was more than just a way to move dollars on chain. It was a stamp of legitimacy. Circle, the company behind USDC, doesn't just partner with anybody. If Circle trusted your chain enough to launch USDC there, you were automatically elevated into the real player category. So when Stellar got it, people nodded and said, of course. When Algorand got it, same reaction. When Hedera got it, no one was surprised. It was expected. It was a part of the checklist. But here's the key point. For those chains, adding USDC didn't fundamentally change their mission. Stellar was already built around payments and remittances. USDC was a perfect fit. But it didn't just open new doors, it just strengthened their existing model. Algorand was chasing DeFi and fast transactions. USDC gave them another tool, but it didn't change their identity. Hedera was already carving out the lane as an enterprise DLT with corporate governance and massive partnerships. USDC looked good in the portfolio, but didn't flip Hedera into a new direction. For all those chains, USDC was an of course it is moment. A wow moment. It gave them credibility, utility, and it didn't unlock a brand new market. Now let's talk about XDC. This is where timing changes literally everything. XDC didn't chase the same checklist. It wasn't built to copy Ethereum or Solana. It wasn't fighting to be the fastest or the most DeFi-friendly chain. Instead, XDC picked a very specific niche, global trade finance. And if you don't know how big that market is, let me paint a picture for you. Every year, trillions of dollars are tied up in a global trade. Letters of credit, bonds, invoices, shipping documents, you name it. These are the backbones of how goods are moved across the world. But the system itself is outdated, slow, and stuck in the world of paper. The inefficiency locks up trillions of dollars that could be flowing more freely if it were digitized. XDC's entire vision is to tokenize those trade instruments to make them digital, transparent, and instantly transferable across borders. If you can take even a small slice of that market and bring it onto the blockchain, you're talking about an opportunity bigger than almost anything else in the crypto. And XDC has been laying the groundwork for that vision for years. They've built partnerships with organizations like ITFA, they've pushed forward with ISO compliance, and they've quietly positioned themselves as a blockchain that institutions can actually use for regulated finance. But here's the problem that XDC faced up until now. You can tokenize all the trade instruments you want, but without a trusted settlement method, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. Imagine you tokenize a $10 million bond or a $50 million trade invoice. An institution buys it. Now what? You can't expect them to use some random stablecoin with no oversight or questionable reserves. That's not how institutions operate. They need something credible, transparent, and regulated. And now they have it. That's why USDC integration on XDC is so powerful. It's not just another feature to brag about, it's the missing piece of the puzzle. XDC already had the structure, it already had the connections, and it already has the compliance narrative. But without a trusted stablecoin, the machine just couldn't run at full power. Now with USDC live on XDC, those tokenized trade finance products can finally settle in the most trusted stablecoin in the world. It moves the entire vision from theory to reality. And this is where perception comes into play, because perception drives markets just as much as technology does. When Stellar integrated with USDC, people shrugged. When Algorand integrated it, no one was shocked. When Hedera integrated it, it was expected. And when XRP integrated it, they were like, duh. But when XDC integrated USDC, the reaction was different. People were surprised. They didn't think Circle would bother with XDC. The skeptics always saw XDC as this small, niche project, too quiet to matter. But now Circle has basically put a stamp of approval on the network, and that changes literally everything. Think about what it means for institutions sitting on the sidelines. A bank, a trade organization, or an investment fund might have ignored XDC in the past, but now they can see Circle, the company behind USDC, validating it by deploying on it. That kind of credibility makes people pay attention. It says that XDC is ready for real-world adoption. It says that the infrastructure is trustworthy enough to handle regulated finance. That's a massive perception shift, and in markets like this, perception is half the battle. So when people ask, why is this a big deal? Didn't other chains already have USDC? The answer is simple. For XDC, USDC is transformative. It's the final piece that allows the network to live out their entire mission. This isn't about having another stablecoin. This is about enabling global trade finance to actually move onto the blockchain with a settlement currency that the world's biggest players already trust. And this is why I keep calling XDC the sleeping giant, because every time it takes a step like this, it's not just adding a feature, it's closing the gap between potential and reality. ISO compliance closed one gap, trade finance partnerships closed another. Now USDC closes the settlement gap. And with each of these moves, the case for XDC being the go-to blockchain for tokenized trade gets stronger and stronger. Look at how the competition lines up. Stellar has payments and remittances. Algorand has speed and DeFi. Hedera has enterprises and carbon credits. All of those are solid use cases, but none of them are unlocking the trillions locked up in trade finance. And that's where XDC stands alone. And with USDC in the arsenal, XDC is positioned to do exactly what it set out to do: become the global settlement layer for tokenized trade. So the next time you hear someone downplaying the integration, remind them that the context matters. Yes, other blockchains have USDC for years, but it didn't change their destiny. For XDC, USDC changes everything. It turns an ambitious vision into something institutions can actually use today. And that's why this is the next big step for the sleeping giant. Now, when institutions realize they can tokenize their trade assets on XDC and settle in the most trusted stablecoin in the world, the game changes. The network goes from potential to adoption. Adoption is where the real value is created. And before we wrap up, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video partner, BTCC Exchange. And if you're serious about trading the alt season, you're going to need a platform that's reliable, fast, and gives you good leverage options. That's exactly why I use BTCC. They've been around since 2011, making them one of the longest running exchanges in the entire crypto space. So you know they've got the experience and trust on their side. On BTCC, you can trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, XDC, and tons of other altcoins with competitive fees and smooth execution. And here's the best part. If you use my link in the description, you'll get 10% off of your trading fees. That means more of the profits staying in your pockets where they belong. So if you're looking to level up your trading experience this alt season, check out the link down below, BTCC. Check out the link below to lock in your 10% discount. Don't miss out on the savings. Remember, save smarter, not harder.